Go figure indeed, Carlton. As far as storylines go, Jumbo-Visma are the team that just keep on giving. Sean, where do we start with that one?
Well, another demonstration by Jumbo-Visma.
You're holding back here. Come
Yeah,
on,
I know.
Yeah,
You're building up to it, Sean. I want you to hit me with a punch.
Demonstration of what?
Well, strength.
Yeah, okay.
And, but the question, still is out there. You know, we see when there were three of them from the Jumbo-Visma team, Kuss was getting into difficulty. We see immediately he was on the radio, I presume, saying, I can't follow. And what do you expect him to do? Slow down a fraction. Ayuso was already dropped from a long way out. The danger man to challenge him for the podium. He was out of the equation altogether. But I think they went harder when they knew Kuss was getting distance.
Sean, let's not pull any punches. What do you make of that? When you have the leader of the race in your team, the red jersey, Sepp Kuss, and you've got the two of them going off the front, what do you make of it?
Well, I think it's unfair. When you see, you know, Sepp Kuss, the way he's been so loyal to them two riders over, you know, many years, many races, winning big races for them. They didn't show anything there and they just kept going. And we did, as I said again, Kuss was on the radio saying, I cannot follow, this pace is too strong.
Well, we think that's what he was saying. We think it's what else is he going to say? What else is he saying on the radio? Go for it. But it doesn't need to. They're already going for it. It doesn't need to say I've been distanced. True. They're already going for it. The only thing he'd say on the radio is I've been distanced. But what do they then do with that? I found it quite uncomfortable viewing, I'll be perfectly honest. Like, there's a lot of people out there who feel like the strongest rider at this World should win, and that is a very fair point. But again, multiple times during this race, we've highlighted the job that Sepp Kuss has done in previous races on this climb at the Vuelta in 2020, at the Giro this year. That day at the Giro, where Almeida and Geraint Thomas went up the road and Roglic was not on a good day, Kuss stayed with his team leader and rode all the way to finish. I'm not saying he could have won that stage, Sepp Kuss, but it didn't even come into his brain. I'm working for my leader, Primož Roglic, on this day, even though he's not as strong as I am today.
Which is his job.
That's his job, yeah. But now they're in a situation where, yes, Roglic and Vingegaard would not have been allowed up the road in a group of 40 and taken 3 minutes on the stage. So he's got that as like a gift, let's say. But now he's in the race lead. The closest person to them is Mikel Landa. He started the day 2 minutes and 40 seconds behind the worst Jumbo-Visma rider, over 4 minutes down. And I just feel like at this point, with everything that Sepp Kuss has done for them for so many years, well paid, but without questioning whether he should be a team leader at any point, he doesn't want to be, I just feel like it's the best gift they could possibly give him, and one that will see him working for them without any question again for years and years to come in the high mountains.
And so easy to give. When you look at the situation, you know, in this race, not only today, but certainly going into that final climb here up the Hansgrohe, you see the situation of the race at the moment when it was a vital time, and Roglic goes in the attack, and then Vingegaard comes across him, and then we had Kuss there just hanging. Like, it's easy. It's not complicated. Sometimes taxis can get complicated because you have riders in between and there are danger in the GC. There was no danger, as you say, Dan, at all there. So they could just knock it off a fraction. Like, it would make no difference to the race, and just keep Kuss with them, carry him to the finish, and then whoever wants to take the stage victory, OK, go and do it. But I feel very unfair.
Adam, Sean thinks it's unfair. Dan find it uncomfortable. So what do you think, though? I'm keen to get your take on it because we haven't had that yet.
I agree with them. It's completely right. Yeah. I think Sepp should have... He's deservedly put himself in this position in the Vuelta. He got into that break, that was under team instruction, and it wouldn't have been easy to get in that break. The whole team worked for him that day throughout that breakaway to ensure he had the best possible chance to win that stage. I'm sure they didn't expect him to be in this position now, but you must have thought within that meeting, if it came down to you three on a climb together and Sepp's getting dropped, you wait. Both of you wait. You'd think that would be the clear instruction. I'd be interested to know if they've asked the riders that, and they shouldn't have to ask Sepp that question for his input. It's up to them. They should, because, as you said earlier, Sepp is a very, very nice guy. He's very kind. He's very respectful. I don't think he really had the heart to stand up to two enormous champions and say, "Yeah, can you please wait? That'd be really kind if you could wait." It's almost that for them showing him the respect that he deserves from both of them, to say, of course we're going to wait. We're not going to leave you behind. We want you to win this World.
Yeah, and it's not only the riders, you know, we can say, OK, unfair, Roglic and Vingegaard, but the direction. They're out there in control. You know, they can radio the riders and give orders. Because when you're on the mountain there and, you know, the adrenaline flow, the public, all of that, it's difficult, you know, to to work it out, and I often say calculations, but very little calculation there. But the team DSs, they should be able to call it, OK, guys, take it back a fraction. Seb is not able to follow, and just keep him there on the wheel.
But, John, as you say, there aren't many tactics involved in it. Your teammate is in red. You're the only 3 riders there. You're the only 3 who can make any kind of a difference. It doesn't take a genius to work out either you stay with the red jersey or you go and you try to put time on him. Yeah. And after all of that, he still remained in red. So what was the point?
Oh, exactly. I mean, had they waited for him, Primož Roglič could still have taken a stage victory, and I don't think anybody would have questioned that. You know, he deserved to take a second stage win at this Vuelta. And nobody's saying that if Sepp Kuss gets dropped on the lower slopes when Bahrain Victorious are riding, that Jonas Vingegaard and Primož Roglič should wait. But it's a very different scenario when the only 3 riders left at the front of the race are from the same team, with one rider with the leader's jersey on his back, and that's where I find it a bit more uncomfortable.
Too many egos.
Because they were in, you know, they're not threatened by anyone. Like you pointed out, they've won 5 stages from 17 at this point. It's the second time on a summit finish, a very famous summit finish. They've gone 1, 2, 3. They're 1, 2, 3 in the overall classification as well, and I just feel like, yeah, the general public likes a good story and an underdog to win, and Sepp Kuss is very much that underdog. So I feel like it's a bit of a PR own goal for them at this point.
And it's unusual as well because he is in that red jersey, and as you say, he was sort of allowed to go in that break. But since then, every single metre that he's covered has been his own work, and he hasn't had the support of those 2 riders in particular. And we've questioned whether or not either of those would slot into that support role if Sepp needed it. He didn't even need it today, and still they couldn't do it.
Exactly, yeah. And again, you know, looking at opinions online, you'll see about the strongest guy winning. And they'll point to Jonas being the strongest guy at the Tour de France for the last 2 years. Would he have won the Tour de France if he was a solo rider without any team around him? Of course he wouldn't. You know, they'd be able to attack left, right and centre. He's not going to be able to respond to everything. You know, any champion needs a team around them. And I think Sepp deserves to have a team around him here that help him to win a race that he's very, very capable of winning, because he's still... he's not the best from his team, but he's the best
of everyone else.
To anyone else's team.